Hello. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I know it's like mid-ad. If you're getting ads, too bad.
Begin.
So we shall see. Some of you guys know I'm friends with some Apex players. Some good friends of mine just moved teams, and I'm very happy for them because they just announced it. That's really fucking exciting because, you know, a lot of my friends that are in esports, different from being a streamer for entertainment, right? When you're a streamer, you make your money off of being entertaining, whatever. After a certain point, especially if you do some variety, it doesn't matter what you're playing, people are there for you kind of thing, as long as you are giving them a good show, right? When you're in esports and your main function is to play well, some of them are still really funny people, but you're not focused on that being the point of your streams. A lot of the time you're doing scrims, you're training, trying to play well, you know? And because of this, there's less money to be made from content. So esports orgs tend to pay like a small salary, a monthly something, a stipend at least, for them to be able to do their thing, you know? So whenever I have friends that are pro players for any game, and are like between teams or something, I always like get worried there, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh man, I really hope they find something good because this is it. Like having that team behind you is how you live, you know, kind of thing. So it's just relieving for me whenever like any of my friends, I see them sign on with a team, get the support they need so that they can keep playing. It's also scary how poor the monetization in the whole esports scene is, but we won't even get into that. It's so fucking bad. Esports orgs don't make money, man. But at the end of the day, the ones I care about are the players that are my friends. So, you know, they'll be okay. But like the orgs as a whole, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have looked into any of that, but it is bad. It is just straight up bad. The same thing can be said about things like Formula One. There's a fuck ton of money that goes into that. The actual races themselves are not generating that much revenue for those companies back. It's just sponsored for the sake of sponsoring. I don't know. It just seems like it's one of those things I'm like, this is made for rich people to throw money at. It's purely for the sport, and they will prop it up because they're rich, kind of thing. So I can only hope that some real rich people start loving esports. Right? That's one of those things where I'm like, man, this could be the next F1, you know? You just need some rich dude's kid to be like, Dad, I want an Apex team. Charlie's been pretty blunt about sports being a money sink. It's always been like that. There's never been money in it, but it will always be propped up enough by sponsors to do okay. Like the orgs will ultimately fail, but the individual people that are working and putting in the time will at least get a payout for their time, most of them. It's one of those business models where I'm like, this is terrible. Same thing with streaming for some people. Depends on the streamer and what kind of content they do and how they do it, but there are a lot of people that the way they run things is just not sustainable. There are a lot of streamers that just stream, and they stream whatever. No plans, no thoughts. They're like, oh, if I have this many people around subbing or watching and I'm playing this thing that I really like, you know, I'm happy, I'm chilling. And I'm like, yeah, for now. And then the moment it changes, you're dying. Like, now, if you're someone who had a career before this and you have the ability to go back to it, stakes aren't so bad, right? Then it's all right. It's all right. Most don't, though. Most started streaming when they were in high school or college and never established a resume. They don't know anything about any of that, really. And then they're streaming to make just enough to make it, quote unquote. How long you think you could do this? I don't know. That shit is scary to me. Yeah, it depends. I mean, obviously it depends on the streamer. There's some people that make like fuck you money, right? And they're chilling. There's some people that make okay money from what you could see, at least. That's the other thing, is you'll never be able to tell how much a streamer makes because any of the numbers that you can see are probably skewed in some way, and there's always like a lot of hidden everything. The one thing that is true for any streamer, at least in America, is everyone gets taxed extra because they're sole proprietorships, right? They're their own little micro businesses technically. So even if it looks like they make a lot, there's that. And then the expenses out for some of these things, depending on the streamer, depending on what they do, is crazy. I look at it and I'm like, oh, like why do so many people want to be streamers and like, they're like, yeah, I want to make it. I'm passionate. And I'm like, why? Because it can work out, but it's so few people have it work out to the point where they're not just covering their bills, right? Because it's better than The Office. I find a lot lot of streamers don't think that after they've been doing it for a while, because when you go to the office, you work and you can work at whatever pace, and then you get home and you're home. Yeah, oh, to have a mind-numbing office job. Yeah, I've done every level of those things, and it's just, I think streaming is not for most people, to be honest. I see other people do it, looks fun and glamorous, don't think about the realities. Yeah, pretty much. But then they try it for a while and they realize some of those realities, and then they keep going, and I think it's just sunken cost fallacy for a lot of people. I knew a couple of people that grew and got partner, and they thought that making partner meant that they were gonna probably be able to make enough to live, and I was like, no. No, I'm so sorry, but it's not even close. And I sat down with a couple friends. They wanted to talk to me about like the financials of everything, because I had a good understanding of it. And they wanted to figure out like at what point, in what quantifiable ways, at what point, what thresholds can they quit their day job. So many of them, the threshold for them to be able to quit their day job and make enough to save so that they could get anything that they might need for themselves, you know, like outside of just covering their bills. They all had to be at way higher points than they thought they needed to be. Yeah, just going over it with people, I think that gave me an understanding of how hard it is to understand this stuff. Which is easier to succeed financially in content creation or game dev? Yeah, both fucking suck. Main thing is if you aren't interesting, you aren't gonna make it as a streamer. Right, and the thing is, oh man, this is another point that's hard to display to people in the right way, but the way I like to put it is, it's not about being interesting. It's not about being entertaining. It's about being more interesting and more entertaining than the majority of people that are going to be around you. You are in a sea of people and you have to be funnier. You know, it's kind of like if you have not been really good at talking or been funny your whole life, then you have to grind that like a skill. And you, a person who has never tried to be entertaining, are going to get there and start working on it. But the thing is, there's gonna be a lot of people next to you who've been doing this their whole lives. It's like, I wanna be a violinist, and I'm gonna start playing in late high school. And then you get to college and you're like, yeah, I wanna make it. I wanna get in the New York Philharmonic. You know who's making it to the New York Philharmonic? A bunch of people who started playing when they were 3. You know what I mean? Like, you're up against them. If you don't already have it, that's the situation you're putting yourself in. Not saying don't try. I'm just saying recognize that that's where it is, right? But people will get there and they'll try for a year and they'll be like, I put a year into this. And I'm like, yeah. Some people put 20 bad years into it and, you know, it's not really working out for them. Some people put one really good year and it works out. Whenever I'm talking to like a friend about these things, I don't want to discourage them to the point where they stop. I'm not trying to ever get any of them to like not do it. It's more like I'm trying to get you to do it within a realistic way that doesn't have this supersede you, you know, making enough money to live and have a life kind of thing. It's hard because I think when you're in it, people get so lost in the sauce, man. Especially with VTubing more than regular streaming. And I think a big contributing factor to the people doing that is that they are being a character, they're using a different name, etc. And it's by default separate from their real life. Whether they need it or not, it's an escape, right? Because it's so detached, I feel like it's so easy for people to just stay away from reality a little bit, you know what I mean? Not just a bit, a lot. There's some amazing people on this platform that very few will ever know of. It comes down to advertising yourself and luck. I personally think advertising yourself is more important than luck. I think people say luck and chance a lot, and I think they should say it less, because I think you can't just grind and work hard. As long as you have phase 2 complete, like people do find you interesting, if they do find you, they'll stay, then doing all that phase 1 stuff will work. It's not chance, it will work. It's just that sometimes there's a chance that it works more than other times because a clip goes viral, right? Hey, anime, skibbity toilet, boop, 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 you know?